Thanks for checking out this edition of This Week in the World of Football, coming to you live from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave, located in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. The purpose of this podcast is to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. We hope to educate, inform, and entertain you with the glorious buffet that is the world of football, while also keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. You can find the show after it's aired live on a multitude of podcasting platforms, as well as right here on YouTube along with past shows. If you want to connect with us, just find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and Threads. Those links will be down in the episode description. Remember to comment, like, and share this video. If you have thoughts or comments during the show, drop them into the live chat and maybe you'll see your name on screen. If you have questions and they are deemed appropriate, they'll be answered at the end of the broadcast. So without further ado, let's kick off this week's show.
Hello again, everyone. This is episode number 411 for September 16th, 2025. I am your host, Randy Snow. On today's show, Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow could miss the rest of the season. AF1 free agency begins today, and the Shreveport Rouxgaroux have a new name. But I'm not here all by myself. Across the internet and across the town from me, it's my son, Adam.
I know, man. Kalamazoo, Portage was in the news for some not so good stuff, and people have been. It's been a wild week. So much crazy stuff behind the scenes. I guess we can't get into between you. Man, you've had just a wild weekend, Randy. They could make a movie out of it.
If people knew what goes on here in the 10 minutes before you hit the go live button, it is utter chaos. It is just a freaking mess. I'm telling you, right up until you hit record. Oh my gosh.
Once we hit record, it's all good, and it is what it is. But beforehand, I mean, even then, like, you didn't have a full, like, you typically, you're super buttoned up. You got the script ready to go. I'm the one who's scrambling, trying to keep up with you half the time, because I get out of work, get the kid, come home, and I have like a very small window to get all the missing stuff that I did not get done the night before. And so it was that again. So if there's missing stuff, it's whatever. And we had breaking AF1 news right before we went live. And so much today, guys. This should be a fun show, regardless of Randy's lack of putting a script together. Trust me, it's for good reason. Randy, if you think Weekend at Bernie's is wild, talk about Weekend with Randy. I'm just going to say that. We can't go into more. Randy won't let me even make a joke about what happened to him this week. But I'll tell you this, though. I'm glad we didn't record our normal time yesterday. I let the dog out when I got home from work. And, normally I let him out and then I go and we record. Well, the dog decided to roll in something yesterday and I had to spend an hour washing the dog. So it was a good thing we didn't record at our normal time for the CFL show yesterday. So I know that's not as bad as what you've had to deal with this weekend, but I just wanted to share that.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing. All right, let's move on. Not only do we have this weekly podcast, but we also make YouTube videos like the one you're watching. We currently have, get this, over 650 videos on our YouTube channel, with the newest ones being an episode of Just Lying Around, number 62, where Adam and Kyle went over the Bears game this week. A great victory by Detroit, by the way. And I actually
talk to you about that.
Yeah,
We'll get there.
I had to listen to this in the car because I was on the go all weekend long, and I did listen to it. I was listening to it live when you guys went live. I just got in the car and I was heading home, and so I did get to listen to you guys. I could see your little faces on my phone because being YouTube and all, but I wasn't looking down. I was trying to keep an eye on the road, and but I did get to listen to the show. So nice job as usual. Let's see. We did our NFL picks video last week for week 2. We did our CFL weekly for week 15 just last night. That got posted. And then we've got more upcoming videos. We've got CFL weekly, week 16 coming up, NFL picks video week 3. And I'm sure there'll be another episode of Just Lying Around. Probably not right after the game since it's a Monday night game.
Like Kyle said, it depends on if the Lions put belt the butt. Maybe we'll be hyped to do it right after. Otherwise, I was thinking maybe Kyle just hops on this show with us and we do a quick little Lions segment on here and we call it a day. But we'll have to see how it works out with Kyle, because I don't think I could do 2 shows in a row. If I could stuff him into this show and just knock 2 birds with 1 stone, call that a win.
Yeah, well, we might have to do that.
Hey, we'll see. I'm open to whatever, and I'm sure Kyle would be down to grace us with his presence. And then we got a 3-way conversation about our beloved Detroit Lions.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Well, let's begin our weekly tour around the world of football. And we're going to start off this week with scores from the NFL.
That's right, everybody. NFL. It was week 2. Can you believe it? All the stuff we freaked out about in week 1. Some people get to breathe a heavy sigh of relief in week 2. So let's run through what was happening, guys. And we're going to start with the Thursday night game, which saw the Green Bay Packers prove that their first week was not fool's gold. They are a legit team by the looks of it, and they defeated the Washington Commanders 27-18. The Baltimore Ravens took care of the Cleveland Browns 41-17. Derrick Henry only had like 23 yards rushing in this one. Bit of a surprise there. Yeah, you could also stop if there's anything you want to talk about from any of these games. I know we're going to dive into a couple of stories, but we'll maybe save those till after the scoreboard is done. Let's see. The Jacksonville Jaguars fell to the Cincinnati Bengals 31-24. Obviously, we'll talk about the Joe Burrow injury in a moment. Probably the most thrilling game of the weekend. Well, one of a couple. There was a couple games this weekend, Dan. I know you said you were busy. I don't know what you missed, but this Dallas Cowboys New York Giants game was definitely a good one. I was a bit surprised. I thought Dallas would win. I just didn't think this is how they would win. Russell Wilson ended up 450 yards passing for the Giants.
Wow.
Good day for him, but he made a crucial turnover in the overtime to give the Cowboys the ball back. The Cowboys kicker, was it Brendan Aubrey's their kicker? He kicked a 64-yarder to send this into overtime, and then won the game with a 46-yard field goal, I want to say, in overtime as seconds ticked out. So heck of a game there for Dallas. They got to be feeling pretty good. Maybe they're a little better than we initially thought. The game that obviously Kyle and I already talked about to death, the Detroit Lions defeating the Chicago Bears 52-21. We'll get to that one in a second. We got some comments already. Yes, Dale, that surprised me. The Dallas Giants game was one of the awesome games of the weekend. It certainly was. We got Royce in the chat. How's it going, Royce? Sorry about your Vikings. We're going to get to them in a minute. Dad, you were all over the place. We haven't really talked about this game other than that you were listening to this on the radio or you were doing something. What were your thoughts on the Lions' epic beatdown of the Chicago Bears?
Well, they said that Detroit has now had like 4 or 5 games over 50, scoring over 50 points in the last couple of seasons, and nobody else has even come close to that. And so to see them bounce back from that terrible game in Green Bay and put up 52 against another divisional opponent, I do hate the Packers more, but it's really nice to see them beat the Bears big like that. So all the people that were down on Detroit, got to eat your words at least for this week, because they looked awesome.
They did. They look like the Detroit Lions of last year. We'll see how they do next week, as I keep reminding people they got the Ravens. Let's not get too hyped. That game will be the litmus test.
Oh my gosh!
Early in the season,
that's gonna be tough.
Couple things I want to ask about this game to you, because like I said, we haven't talked about it. We're 2 Lions fans, and we didn't really talk about this game. Your thoughts on the quote running up the score on one Benjamin Johnson, head coach of the Chicago Bears, now former Lions offensive coordinator?
Well, I think that Detroit was just making sure that in case there was a tie somewhere, the points scored against common opponents would come into play somewhere. So I think that's more what they were doing, was they were just trying to make sure that they had as many points as they possibly could. I know that I think Jerry Goff said that the people in the stands were chanting "F-U" to Ben Johnson.
That was going to be my next question. The F Ben Johnson chants.
Yeah. No, I mean, our coach didn't start off that well either when we got him. Dan Campbell started out like 1-11 his first several games. It was atrocious. So I mean, a new coach, never been a head coach before. You've got to expect this sort of thing from a new coach. So yeah, he didn't deserve that. Yes, we all said he was a traitor when he left and went to Chicago, a team within our division. But you know what? It's if he's going to be a good coach, it's not going to be in the near future. It's going to take a couple years. So I'm not worried about Ben Johnson right now.
Yeah, I think, look, I get the fan in me. Like, we booed Matt Stafford, all of that. I don't think I would have gone as far as to say F Ben Johnson or F Matt Stafford, but it's also sports. This kind of goes with the territory. Yes, Ben Johnson did do a lot for Detroit. Yes, maybe he's a traitor for leaving, but at the same time, it happens all the time in the NFL. Coaches leave. It's all good. There's mad respect on both sides for that, which I don't care. Whatever. Those are the type of games where, I don't want Ben Johnson winning that game. Are you kidding me? I mean, I wish him the best of luck the rest of the year. That game, though, F Ben Johnson, I guess, for that brief period. But I wouldn't come out loud and say it like that, Randy.
No.
I'd say, Ben Johnson, stop it. Probably something like that. Maybe a little more stern. And then last question before we move on. What do you think of Jared Goff jumping into the stands?
He wasn't so much jumping into the stands as being shoved by his teammates over the wall into the stands. That's the way I took it. If when they say white man can't jump, because you saw Amon-Ra get up there on his first try and he's so short. Goff's got no business jumping into the stands.
Hey, it was all good and fun, and like he said, when am I going to have this opportunity again? But as one of the local Detroit stations said, maybe for the next Lions home game, they need to get like a step stool out there for him in case he needs it. So we'll see if they make that happen. But all right, let's move on to the rest of the NFL. We got quite a few games to still get to. First off, we got the New England Patriots took care of the Miami Dolphins 33-27. I would highly recommend everybody go check out Mike McDaniel's post-game press conference, which was utterly hilarious, talking about how essentially you try to win a football game and you do so by not losing the football game. That's how you win football games. That is practically a direct quote. Go look it up. It was so funny. This guy's getting fired any week now. We're going to move on. The San Francisco 49ers, with their backup quarterback Mac Jones defeated the New Orleans Saints 26-21. The Buffalo Bills made easy work of the New York Jets 30-10. In the back half of the scoreboard, we had the Seattle Seahawks, who went into Pittsburgh and took care of the Steelers 31-17. Matt Stafford and the Rams went out to Tennessee, took care of the Titans 33-19, despite number one overall pick Cam Ward throwing an absolute beautiful touchdown pass in this game. And I believe Randy disappeared. I don't know if he lost internet connection, but I will continue with the scores till he comes back. And then let's see, the Carolina Panthers lost to the Arizona Cardinals 27-22. This game was utterly wild. The Indianapolis Colts defeated the Denver Broncos 29-28. This game was a wild finish, chat. I don't know if anybody else watched this one. Absolutely crazy. And Dad's back. What happened over there? You lose internet?
It's part of what was going on this morning. So.
Okay, I got you. Yes, all good. Hopefully, you can make it through the show.
I hope so.
But yep. So right now we're on the Denver Broncos score. Did you catch any of the highlights from this crazy ending?
No, I did not.
So in this one, the Broncos were up 28-26. The Colts went to kick a 60-yard field goal in this one. Missed it, but there was a flag on the play that gave the Colts one last chance. They called the Broncos for leverage. A guy jumped over the center, and they threw a penalty, kind of ticky-tacky. I don't know if that should have been called or not, but the guy sailed it wide right, so he gets a second chance. They already thought Denver won the game. Then this flag happened. They got to redo the kick from 45 yards. He makes it to make the Colts 2-0 to start this season off. And then they put a dagger in the hearts of the Broncos fans watching. If you get a chance, go watch the reaction of Brandon Perna from over on That's Good Sports, watching his Broncos lose this game. It is chef's kiss. Pretty awesome. And then, then the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles got together for a Super Bowl rematch, which saw the Eagles take this one 20-17. As Dale puts it in the chat, it's nice to see Kansas City have 0 wins and 2 losses and sent to last place in the AFC West. It is very different. There's some 10-year-old out there who's never seen this happen before in their life, where the Kansas City Chiefs started the season 0-2. Time to hit the panic button yet, Randy, or do you think the Chiefs will be okay?
I think the Chiefs will be fine. Yeah, they've never started 0-2, but should be fine.
Okay, and then the Sunday night game was a bit of a snooze fest as the the Atlanta Falcons defeated Royce's Minnesota Vikings 22-6. Sorry, Royce. JJ McCarthy in this one got banged up, and it sounds like he's going to miss next week. Carson Wentz will be filling in for the Vikings at quarterback. Then we had a couple of Monday night games last night. It was a big topic on our picks video last week, what we feel about the double headers in it looks like Dad's still having his computer problems. We talked about that last week on the show where, do you like the double headers? Do you not like the Monday night double headers? We were kind of like, we could leave them, especially here on the East Coast where, we got a 7 o'clock game, which is fine. I like that. And then you have the 10 o'clock game, which I was not able to watch because it's 10 o'clock and I had a bedtime. I got to go to work the next day. What are we doing here? Roy's talking about the Vikings. Their O-line needs some help. Hey, Royce, no offense. As a Lions fan, I love to hear that. That's just some good stuff for Hutch when we play you guys later on down the road. You guys need Darisaw back ASAP. I would say you guys are missing him very much so. But anyway, so that first Monday night game, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeated the Houston Texans in Houston on a last-second touchdown, 20-19. Baker Mayfield pulling that one out at the end. Baker, I love watching Baker down there, not just because he's my fantasy quarterback and I can talk about fantasy without Randy being on right now, but I thought Baker looked fantastic. We'll see if that Houston defense can improve and that Houston team can get a little better in the next couple of weeks because I'm a little concerned about them. And then how about the Chargers? I think we should be watching out for them in the second Monday night game. They beat the Raiders 20-9 in that one. So that'll be it for our scoreboard in this one. As I continue to fly solo, everybody. That's right. Randy's dealing with a computer issue right now. He's rebooting it as we speak. So he will be back momentarily. But let's talk about a couple of news items. As we kind of alluded to earlier, Joe Burrow will be out for 3 months because of a toe injury he suffered during this game. Initially, it did look like an ankle, and it was kind of scary. Right now, he's going to have surgery on that toe. He says he'll be out 3 months, so that'll bring him back around December-ish time. We'll have to wait and see how that works out for him. We wish him a speedy recovery. I think the NFL is better off having Joe Burrow in it and playing. It just stinks to see, like, every other year this dude's got to deal with an injury. And I know he made the joke at the NFL Awards about not wanting to keep winning Comeback Player of the Year, but it's just been a bad pattern. A story we didn't hit on in the Lions game, something we talked about on Just Lying Around. Jared Goff passing Bobby Lane on the all-time Lions touchdown list. This puts him in second place on that list, right behind Matt Stafford. So that was a pretty cool thing to see in regards to that. This might be the end of Cincinnati's season, says Dale in the chat, because Browning did not look good at all, even though he was able to get the win. Yeah, it'll be interesting for the Bengals there. Browning, a couple years ago when he had to fill in, he went 4-3 as a starter. And as we pull Randy back in here, hey, how you doing? We're about to wrap up with the NFL section here. I know you hate it anyway.
I had to reboot my machine. It's the same problems going on, so hopefully that won't happen again.
Hey, if it does, it's all good. That's the problem with doing the live shows, everybody. If we were to have done this in person, though, I think Randy would have thrown the computer out the window, and it wouldn't even be a show. But we're going to make do, and we're going to power through. So we just got done, Dad, talking about Jared Goff passing Bobby Lane, all-time Lions touchdown list. Another little thing that happened, we didn't really make a graphic for this, but what's cool was if you watched the Lions game, you saw that late-night host Jimmy Fallon was in the building, a Tonight Show host. He was in town doing a live show for the Tonight Show. They filmed it right by Ford Field after the Lions game on Sunday. And they aired it last night. So there's a lot of cool Detroit stuff in this episode. If you get a chance to go check out last night's episode, it had a fun song with him talking about getting a Jared Goff tramp stamp tattoo. Aiden Hutchinson made a cameo. He got a Lions game ball. There's video from the Lions game that he was at. It's a lot of cool stuff. It was really neat seeing Fallon there. And obviously Keegan-Michael Key was on the show. Big Lions fan there. So anything else there from the NFL before we throw it over to you to talk some CFL?
Nope, I think we're good on the NFL this week.
All right. Well, Dad, it's CFL time, and I will hand it off to you, permitting your computer holds up.
Yeah, for as long as I'm actually online, let's get into this. Friday night, it saw the Hamilton Tiger Cats over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 32-21. This was the first meeting of the season for these two teams. And again, because I was on the road all weekend long, I got to listen to this game. I found it on the Sirius XM. There's channel 167, which is Canada Talk, and they do carry the CFL games a lot of times. So I was able to find it there. So luckily I got to listen to this game, and just, like I said, crazy weekend, but got to listen to you in the car. Got to listen to the CFL game in the car. What a great time to be alive, technology and all that. It can be good and it can be bad, just like me having to reboot my machine here. But
you're experiencing both ends of that dagger this weekend.
Yeah. Let's see. Also on Friday night, it was the BC Lions over the Ottawa Red Blacks 38-27. This was an easy win for BC. Even though they were shut out in the fourth quarter, they still wound up with a big win, and congratulations to them. Saturday, the most exciting game of the weekend to me, the Toronto Argonauts over the Edmonton Elks 31-30. A 48-yard walk-off field goal by Lirim Hairelahu was the difference in the game. The Elks were in charge of this game most of the game long, and Toronto was able to catch up at the end and kick that field goal as time expired. Just very, very exciting. I never expected them to win that game. I thought, well, boy, they've really blown this one, but they did. And it's the second game in a row that Hairelahu has kicked a walk-off field goal to win a game. So good for him. And then finally, the last game in the CFL on Saturday night, Montreal shocked Saskatchewan 48-31. Who saw that coming? I sure didn't. That this was only the third loss for Saskatchewan this whole season. The other two were both to the Calgary Stampeders. And so they still got the best record. They still clinched a playoff spot, even with the loss. So watch out for Saskatchewan this year. And Calgary was on bye. You want to go through the standings real quick?
Yep. Standings real quick, guys, as I will also blow the screen up a little bit. Saskatchewan, as we mentioned, clinching that playoff berth at 10-3 despite the loss. The Calgary Stampeders right behind them in the West at 8-4. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers at 6-7. British Columbia Lions at 6-7, and the Edmonton Elks at 5-8. In the East, the Hamilton Tiger Cats sit at 8-5. The Montreal Alouettes at 6-7. The Toronto Argonauts at 5-8, and the Ottawa Red Blacks at 4-9. And then you have the one news story?
Yep, there was a news story. Hamilton's GM, Ted Govia, passed away last week after battling cancer. Was also the GM for the Toronto Argonauts at one time and put together a team that won the 2012 Grey Cup. He was also an assistant GM and the director of player personnel for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers up until last season when he went to Toronto. And he led that game to 2 Grey Cup titles in 2019 and 2021. They were wearing a guitar sticker on the back of their helmets all season long because they knew that he was battling cancer, and he succumbed to that last week. So unfortunately, those things happen. So condolences to his family and all the players and coaches that got to know him over the years. So now I guess we're ready to go into college scores, and I'll let you talk about the top 25, whatever scores you want to bring out, and then I'll go through the other levels.
All right, sounds good. Just got to do some shuffling here, guys. Let's talk some college football. What a crazy weekend. We got some of the top 25 scores I pulled out right here. Number 1, Ohio State made easy work of Ohio, 37-9. Number 2, Penn State beat Villanova 52-6. Number 3, LSU took care of Florida 20-10. Number 4, Oregon beat Northwestern 34-14. Number 5, Miami beat number 18, South Florida 49-12. Remember, Dad, we were talking about how South Florida was on a bit of a hot streak. They beat a couple ranked teams. They went into this one, and we kind of had our fingers crossed that maybe they could pull something out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't meant to be, I guess. Sorry, South Florida, but we'll see if that one loss gets rectified towards the end of the season. Let's see. Number 6, Georgia defeated number 15, Tennessee in overtime, 44-41. So that was a great game. Number 16, Texas A&M beat Notre Dame, number 8, 41-40. So this one was another tight, exciting game as Texas A&M comes up with a big upset there. This one hits a little too close to home. Number 9, Illinois, 38. Our Western Michigan Broncos goose egg.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt beat number 11, South Carolina, 31-7. Georgia Tech upset number 12, Clemson, 24-21. Number 23, Michigan fired up those chips and kicked them out of the building, 63-3. And number 25, Missouri beat Louisiana, 52-10 in that one.
Yeah, I also have a correction from last week. We talked about the North Texas Eagles coming into Western last week and beating them, and I was under the impression they were an FCS team. And when I was listening to the radio guys, they were talking about them being an FCS team, and maybe I misunderstood, but I swear they were saying they were an FCS team. So that's where I got it from. But no, they are an FCS team. They play in the American Athletic Conference. They're not an FCS team. My mistake. I just wanted to throw that out. You got pointed out to me by a couple of people in the comments, and I double checked, and yep, I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. So thank you for pointing that out. Yep. Okay. Talking about FBS scores, Army military academies. I like to highlight the military academies. Army did not play this past week, but Navy defeated Tulsa 42-23, and Utah State defeated Air Force 49-30. And now let's do a quick rundown of just one score from each of these levels this week. At the FCS level, it was Rhode Island over Holy Cross, 9-7. In Division II, it was Michigan Tech over Hillsdale, 34-21. Didn't Tesla play at Hillsdale before he moved on to someplace else, Arkansas?
He might have. That sounds right.
Yeah. Division III, Kalamazoo College over Bethany of West Virginia, 50-7, right here in town. In the NAIA, it was St. Francis of Indiana shutting out Lawrence Tech, 35-0. Moving on to the junior college level, this game was actually played yesterday on a Monday. It was the Army junior varsity team over Snow College, 31-29 in 3 overtimes. And this game was played at West Point. My gosh, if I'd have known this in advance, I would have loved to have gone to West Point to see Snow College and West Point. I've always wanted to go to Mikey Stadium and see that. But, this was an afterthought. I couldn't have done it this weekend anyway with all the craziness going on around here. But that's pretty cool for a junior college team to go to West Point and play a game against their junior varsity. What an awesome experience that must have been. Moving on up into Canada, we've got U Sports, the Windsor Lancers over the McMaster Marauders, 29-13. In the Canadian Junior Football League, it was the Regina Thunder over the Winnipeg Rifles, 25-12. And that's it for the college scores.
Right on. We have in the chat our very own World of Football employee just lying around, host himself, Kyle Sutherland, in the chat. Eden says hi. That's my sister. And great job. And when we eat, and that's right, we're having a nice family dinner as soon as we're off the air here. So tell her, Kyle, as soon as we end the show, we will get a hold of everybody and we will go out for dinner. We're not telling everybody where we're at. We don't need to be mobbed at the local Chili's, everybody. We don't need you there at 5 o'clock when we're all sitting around eating dinner. Okay? So, did I let that slip? We're going to Chili's. I haven't been to Chili's in years.
Yeah, keep talking. I'm hungry. Let's go.
Okay. All right. So the next thing on the docket, So the next thing on the docket is our friend Greg St. James with the week 3 scores from Japan. And just give me a second here to add everything to the stage. And we'll let him take it away from there as I get this all set up. And Randy, don't talk through it this time. Sometimes I've heard you in the background.
What?
I know, right? All right, here we go.
everybody. It is Greg St. James here from Gridiron Japan with your Week 2 X-League Super Scores. We're only going to do the X-League Super Scores this weekend because I'm going to apologize for the first scoreboard that I did, which was about 5 minutes, and we also covered the college game. Personally, on behalf, I apologize. I listened to it myself afterwards, and it bored me to tears. So I figured I would just stick with X-League Super, get the quick scoreboard in, get out, so you can go back to listening to Randy and Adam at the World of Football, for which this scoreboard is part of. So if you're listening on our podcast alone, please go over to the World of Football there at the World of Football podcast and give their podcast a listen. And for those who are listening to me for the first time on the World of Football, we are at gridironjapan.jp, and it's myself, Greg St. James, John Gunning, and X-League player, John Gunning with Inside Sport Japan, who's also a journalist with the Japan Times and with NHK, the national broadcaster here in Japan. And John is basically the English sumo language expert of the world. If you don't know anything about John Gunning, please Google him. He's smarter than me when it comes to all things football, and also smarter than me is our other co-host, X-League quarterback, former ELF quarterback, and also former LFA quarterback, Aaron Ellis, who is currently playing for the X2 Ibaraki Saviors here in Japan. So with all that said, let's get right into the scores. So we had the Elecom Fineys winning 47-27 over the Fukuoka Suns. The Panasonic Impulse, who are the defending X-League champions, 38-7 over the Sexy Sui Challengers. We had Fujifilm Abina Minerva was 29-13 winners over the Oriental Bio Silver Star. The IBM Big Blue was 45-14 over the All Mitsubishi Lions. And the Obic Seagulls were the 39-7 winners over Tokyo Gas Creators. Got one score left, and that was the big one for the weekend. And it was probably the biggest upset in X-League history, at least for our podcast up to now, probably in the last 10 years. John we'll be discussing this further on our podcast the next time we go to air to talk about this game and all more in depth about the week 2 games that were played. And also week 2, meaning every other week here in Japan. We play the games are played every other week, both at the X-League level and also at the college level too. So with that said, for our final score, we had the Najima Rise were 29-28 winners over the Fujitsu Frontiers. And this one was big because Fujitsu is basically the New York Yankees of the X-League. They have, since I've been following the league, they had never lost up until the other day an X-League regular season game. So, in fact, with our podcast, the first time the Fujitsu Frontiers lost a game was in this past year's Rice Bowl championship, in which they lost to the Panasonic Impulse. So, since our podcast has been around, the Fujitsu Frontiers have only lost 2 games, and technically they've lost they're 1-2 for 2025 with the losing record for this year. So it's something very odd to see here for anybody following the X-League in Japan. So with all that said, for those who are listening, we are at gridironjapan.jp. We are also at gridironjapantv.net. That takes you right to our YouTube channel, which is Gridiron Japan. And obviously, with the magic of search engines and everything nowadays, all you got to do is just type in Gridiron Japan. If you're looking for us, be it on the podcast, be it on our YouTube page, or even, like I said, our website. And our website's got a lot of stuff. So, all right, back to everybody. Back to the world of football. And hey, talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Gridiron Japan.
All right. Thank you, Greg, for that. As always, I had to mute Randy because every time he hears that little ending, he giggles to himself. So thank you, Greg.
I think Greg must have changed the angle in his man
Yeah, he
cave
did.
there. I've never seen all those pennants. Those are awesome. I saw USFL pennants from the 80s, and a lot of those NFL pennants were old school pennants. So I mean, that's awesome. I love that. That was great. A lot of times we get to see a lot of his helmets that he's got back there, but I hadn't seen that wall of pennants before, and that was gorgeous.
He's got a lot of cool stuff on that wall. So
He does.
It was a cool way to change up the angle because, yeah, I was even looking around like, oh, he's got a Lions pennant. I see a little Lions Pocket Pro. He's got a bit there. I saw NAL football. I saw a bunch of stuff that I don't think I've seen before, but so that was pretty cool. All right, so that's it for that. Thanks again, Greg. Check out Gridiron Japan, guys.
Yep.
Now, Dad, where are we going?
Well, that's it for all the scores for this week. So we're going to move on to more happenings in the world of football. And we're going to start off with the AF1. Free agency in AF1 begins today. And there's already been a few signings. But just before we went live here, you pointed out to me that the biggest signing was wide receiver Darius Prince has just signed is going to sign with the Kentucky Barrels. That's huge.
That's huge. I think Kentucky's been doing a lot of great signings. We figured with Coach Walker, this team was going to probably come out the gates guns a-blazing. And, man, if we were to put together a power poll right now, I think going into the AF1 season, Kentucky got to be right up there, right behind Nashville and Albany, you'd think right now. I mean, Albany re-signing Darian Townsend. Nashville got Malik Honeycutt, one of my favorite players from last year. So there's a lot of moving happening, a lot of moving parts happening right now in the AF1 offseason. We could probably talk a little bit more about that. We got a little extra time, so we could probably get long-winded here if we wanted to, Dad. But that's not the only story coming out of the AF1 that could have some ramifications on the season.
Yeah, they announced, I think it was just yesterday, maybe it was the day before, the Shreveport Rouxgaroux.
No, but time out. That's NAL. That's NAL. We're talking AF1 still. We got one other AF1 story. You're getting ahead of yourself before we link these two stories.
You're going to have to remind me what this other story was. You told me and I can't remember.
It's literally on the screen right now, but comment from Viking Wax Press, our buddy Royce. Barrels might be the Beaumont Renegades, be like the Beaumont Renegades in the NAL. First-year champs. Who knows? Hey, the way the Barrels are building right now, might be a little early, but I mean, boy, they're doing a lot of good stuff. No, the other stories, Dad, that I thought you put down in the rundown that I have on our lovely graphic I spent so much time making 10 minutes before the show. Throughout the week, there's been a couple of announcements. The Salina Liberty came out the other day. They said, hey, we're going to have a press conference on Friday at, I believe, like 1 o'clock to announce some stuff. What stuff? Well, gee, guys, I wonder if it has anything to do with what league they're going to be playing in. We kind of talked about that last week. And then yesterday, the Storm, the Southwest Kansas Storm, also came out with a similar letter saying, hey, we have an announcement coming on Friday, but at like a little later time during the day. So the thought, the speculation, that's been a buzz throughout the community. If you haven't heard it by now, what rock you've been living under? It's the thought that these two teams are jumping over to the National Arena League, which makes sense. Just geographically, and for these teams, there's probably a lot of factors in terms, and also probably, player salaries are a little cheaper. They don't need the big rebound nets if they're playing NAL football.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, location of opponents is also a big thing. Getting teams to where you can take a bus to the games as opposed to getting on a plane and flying halfway across the country. So I get it. I do get it. That's important for a lot of these smaller leagues to have opponents that are somewhat close by. It also helps with the rivalries too. When you got fans from neighboring cities that can drive to the game, that's a good thing. and so it keeps everybody engaged. So I'm not surprised. I kind of hate to see him go, but it is what it is.
Yeah, so the AF1, there's a lot of people in the forums, on the internet, acting like the house is on fire. Now, Dad and I mean, Dad, you might be a little more chill than I am. There's a lot of question marks in terms of the AF1 right now. This isn't in the rundown, but I figured we could have a nice little convo real quick about this. They went in with 8 teams last year. That's how they played the season. They were supposed to have a couple more. Things didn't work out beforehand. So they played the season with 8, and a full season was played. Now we're going into year 2. We were supposed to get 2 expansion teams. We got one of them in the barrels. We're still waiting on this Michigan team we keep hearing about. Nothing's happened about that. Now with the prospect of losing 2 teams in Salina and Southwest Kansas, that takes you down a step, or at least in terms of size. Then you have the Beaumont Renegades coming over from the NAL to add to your league. So now you have them. There's still question marks around the Billings Outlaws. What's happening with them? If they moved, or are they staying in town? What's happening? Well, nothing official yet. And then you have the Corpus Christi Tritons. What's happening with them? Are they shutting down? Are they moving to a different city? What's the deal there? So question marks still there. So I guess I say all this to ask you, are you freaking out like a lot of AF1 fans about where the league's at, between not getting announcements yet, between teams leaving, between just a lot of radio silence right now? Where are you sitting? Is it too early to worry about it? Is it getting too late in the cycle to start panicking? What's your take?
I'm not too worried yet. Give me another month and maybe I'll start to get a little bit worried. But right now, I know that the people in charge of the AF1 are great people. They know what they're doing. Even they sometimes things happen that they can't control. But I have confidence in the leadership of the AF1, so I'm not worried. Not yet, anyway.
So the season would hypothetically start? We're thinking April, late March.
Yeah, late March, early April, I think. Yeah.
So using that as the time frame, we're in September. So we have September, October, November, December, January, February, when you probably got to start getting your training, because that's 5 months. A lot of people, a lot of other pundits on some other shows, this ain't taking a shot at people, but people are starting to get a little worried. Do you think a month from now is when we should start getting worried? Like late October? Like if we don't hear anything by then about other teams, if they're adding teams, like is that where you're thinking we should start panicking?
I think so. If we don't have any new teams by late October, yeah, then it might be time to start patting your brow and getting the perspiration off your eyebrows.
Yeah, because I mean we keep hearing there's stuff coming. The AF1 has been pretty good. Like I said, we have relationships with some of the guys in positions there. We've had them on the show. We make no secret about that. We're friends with a few of these people, but I mean, it is, to me, I'm trying not to get super worried, because it's like, at what point should we get worried? And like you said, maybe end of October is where I would start sweating and getting actually worried. There's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes, arena deals and all that. Who knows? So we'll have to wait and see. But everything we keep hearing is stuff's coming. Free agency's underway. Let it all just play out. I even talked to Dalton Cole the other day. Him and I were going quarterback for the Oregon Lightning. We were talking about some of his plans. So I'm very excited to see where he ends up, And so, it's cool to see how this free agency period shakes out for the AF1, what news could be coming around the corner, maybe some surprises, who knows? But yeah, I'm not hitting the panic button just yet, but I'll admit I'm sweating a little bit, Randy. I'm sweating a little bit.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
See. Where am I
going? You want to jump over to the NAL, right?
Okay. Yeah. NAL. The Shreveport Rouxgaroux have new owners, and they're going to get a new name. Instead of being the Shreveport Rouxgaroux, they're now going to be the Louisiana Rouxgaroux. I'm glad they left the Rouxgaroux. That's a pretty unique logo, a pretty unique name. I like it. I don't know why a new owner has to change the name. I think Shreveport Rouxgaroux was pretty cool by itself, but now they're trying to incorporate the whole state, I guess. We've seen it before, but yeah, Louisiana Rouxgaroux, not Shreveport anymore.
Yeah, I mean, still a unique name. I was happy at least they kept that. We've seen it before, the changing a city to a state name. I mean, sometimes maybe that's just better for branding for them. Who knows? So that's a tiny little detail. Not really, one way or the other. I'm not really feeling bad or good about it. It's just all right. They're just changing the name.
Yeah. Yep. And then in the American Arena League, which I guess is a league that's coming back, that I think the AAL2 continued to play last year, but now it's the AAL that's coming back. They're adding a couple of teams that they're taking from the National Arena League. That would be the the Wheeling Miners and the Columbus Lions. Columbus Lions, I mean, that is a big addition for that league. I think that gives them immediate credibility, I think.
I guess so. I mean, the Lions, like you said, yeah, they've been around forever. To me, the hierarchy of power in terms of indoor/arena football is IFL, AF1, NAL, and the Arena League. I think the Arena League has kind of put their foot in the door now, and they're one of those top four. Everybody else of these other leagues, I don't know. I'm not saying they're nobody's. I love that these guys get opportunities. There's a lot of opportunities in these other leagues for coaches, players, owners, to figure out like, hey, can this organization move up? It just sounds like this is an opportunity for these two franchises maybe to take a step back, kind of refigure out ownership situation or money or whatever, and then build back up to maybe jump back into one of those big four leagues in the coming years. Because I mean, even Wheeling, they've had a good fan base and good turnouts. So I think this is a win for that league. But for these two teams, I don't know if I would have made this move, but I don't know their financials, and I would assume they're making the best move for them. Clearly, there's something with the NAL where maybe it was just too expensive for them to operate in, or maybe they didn't like how that league was run, and as opposed to just jumping ship to the IFL or AF1 or any other type of league, they're like, let's just take a step back, and this allows us to get some bearings for a year, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah. Yep. And Wheeling, West Virginia has had indoor teams at various times throughout the years, and they've done well, and now they're back with the Wheeling Miners, and hopefully they can stick around for a little bit longer than some of the other ones. All right. I had this on the rundown, and I don't know if you want to address this week.
We ain't got time for it. Let's just skip that one. We've been trying to get it down to I think the way things have worked out this week, let's just not even get into that this week. I wasn't even prepared.
Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, let's just move on to today's birthdays and anniversaries. The first birthday today is that of running back Wilbert Montgomery, who turned 71 today. He played college football at Abilene Christian and at Jackson State. He was selected in the 6th round of the 1977 NFL draft by the Philadelphia Eagles. He played 9 NFL seasons. He was with the Eagles from 77 to 84, and he finished his career with the Detroit Lions in 1985. I don't remember him being with the Detroit Lions, but if Pro Football Reference says it, it's got to be true. So happy birthday to Wilbur Marshall. And then the other birthday is Martha Firestone Ford, turns 100 years old today. And I guess they gave her Dan Campbell gave her a game ball yesterday, the day before her birthday, in the locker room. And she looks really good for 100 years old. I mean,
coherent. She was talking to the team at 100. Yep. Oh, heck yeah. It was kind of awesome to see. And I love that Dan Campbell just, gave her that game ball. That Ford family believes in what Dan's been doing, what Brad Holmes has been doing. And while I think Martha caught a lot of flack in her short term as owner before she handed over to Sheila, who really, that's when everything started to turn around. Martha played a part. I think Martha eventually was smart enough to, hey, I don't think I could do this. My daughter can, and look where we're at now. So, I mean, while everybody was saying, sell the team, Martha, blah, 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 Martha ended up doing the right thing, and God bless this woman, 100 years old. I didn't even realize she was getting up into triple dig.
I knew she was in her upper 90s, but I didn't realize that she's turning 100 years old today. So happy birthday, Martha. I guess having a winning football team is good for you.
She's clinging on to dear life for that stinking Super Bowl. I respect the hell out of that lady. Love you, Martha.
All right. And we do have some 2 obituaries to talk about this week. This is where we take a moment and we honor those who've made the world of football a better place. The first obituary is that of Alfred Hinton, a tackle in the Canadian Football League for 6 seasons, has passed away at the age of 84. Hinton played college football at Iowa and went on to play for the Toronto Argonauts in 62 and 63. He was with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 64, and he was with the Montreal Alouettes from 65 to 67. Now, after football, he became an artist. He actually taught art at Western Michigan University here in Kalamazoo for a short time, but then he went to the University of Michigan and was there for, I believe, 22 years as an art teacher. And he's got artwork that he has done himself. He's a multimedia kind of guy. You know, he does sculptures, he does paints, he does all sorts of stuff, collages. He has stuff on display all over the world in museums and just you name it. So just an incredible person. I think I saw something about him a few years ago where they talked about how he's got these artworks all over the world. But I couldn't find a good picture of him playing up in the CFL, but this was on his obituary that I found, and what a great way to remember Alfred Hinton. So condolences to his family. And then do you want me to do the other one? As long as
I'll take this next one.
Okay.
So our next and final obituary, everybody, is that of Andy Nelson, a defensive back in the NFL for 8 seasons, has passed away at the age of 92. Nelson played college football at Memphis and was selected in the 11th round of the 1957 NFL draft by the Baltimore Colts. He played for the Colts from 1957 to 1963 and won back-to-back NFL titles with the team in 1958 and 1959. He finished his playing career with the New York Giants in 1964. He went on to be an assistant coach with the Philadelphia Bell of the World Football League in 1974. He was inducted into the Memphis Sports Hall of Fame in 1976 and the Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame in 2009.
All right. Finally today, our upcoming events calendar. On Friday, September 19th, that's this Friday, the movie I Want to See, The Senior, is coming out. And the movie you want to see, Him, is also coming out. So are we going to go to our separate theaters the same evening to watch these movies?
I'm telling you, I want a double header, Randy. And then, like I said, I want to pay for your ticket to see Him. And I want to legitimately know the moment you tap out and like, I've had enough, and then you leave the theater. That's all I want.
I'm tapping out right now. I'm tapping out.
No,
I do not want to go see.
You got to have your butt in the theater. You have to have popcorn in your lap. And you have to at least get through the opening of the movie.
Yep.
After that, you can leave it any time.
Well, we'll let you folks know how that goes next week. All right.
Yeah, we might have to have a couple of reviews next week. That might be something for the show. Or we can get together and do separate reviews. There's no Lions game on Sunday, Dad. So, I mean, we could have a video movie review thing. What you think?
The way this week's been going, I'm not going to agree to anything right now.
Adam, there's no chance he's going to go see that movie. I wouldn't want to see this movie either. Hey, I just got to know, Dale. I just got to know if Randy's going to, or what point would have been too much for him.
I already know. I'm tapping out. Okay, let's see. Sunday, September 28th, the second international game of the season, Steelers versus Vikings in Dublin, Ireland. That's going to be a 9:30 a.m. game on NFL Network. Sunday, October 5th, another international game, Vikings versus Browns in London, England, NFL Network, 9:30 in the morning. Set your alarm clocks for these. Sunday, October 12th, international game of Broncos versus Jets in London, NFL Network, 9:30 a.m. And that's it. Oh, no, the 19th. Sunday the 19th, international game, Rams versus Jaguars in London, NFL Network, 9:30 a.m. on the East Coast. So, yeah. Okay, that's it for our show. Right. Thank goodness.
Yeah, that was a tough one for you this week.
Oh man, it was.
You've been put through the ringer this weekend. I mean, we won't get into it maybe this week. Maybe someday we can look back and laugh on the weekend that Randy had. But for now, Randy deserves himself some Chili's baby back ribs, which is what we're planning on going to do, and stuff our faces here in a little bit. We got to let the family know. The podcast, the whole family's like sitting around waiting for us to get done recording so that we can all go out to dinner. Because it'll be the first time we've seen each other in person since I got hitched.
Yeah. Well, I was afraid I might have to reboot my machine again. That's why I was trying to hurry things along and get this over with, because I was afraid that something might happen and I might have to reboot my machine again. So luckily we got through it. All right. That's it for this week, folks. Don't forget to check out our World of Football merchandise at tpublic.com for the latest in football-related shirts, hats, mugs, and more from our merch store. And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the two of us guys sitting here on different parts of Kalamazoo, Michigan, talking about all kinds of football. Join us again next week when we'll try and do a better job. Hopefully, yes. Until then, I'm Randy Snow.
And I'm Adam Snow. And if you guys want to join us at the Chili's and want to buy Randy a beer to make sure that his bad weekend troubles are put behind him, he won't drink that beer, but I'll take it for him, but he'll appreciate the gesture.
Hey, we've been recognized. I got recognized in Canada when we went to a CFL game. We got recognized in Detroit a couple of times, but nobody in Kalamazoo has ever recognized us. So I think it's going to be a while before that happens.
It's okay. Hey, the world of football is legion, Randy. All right.
I'm out.
All right. Bye, everybody. We'll see you next week. Or don't forget, tune in tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, NFL week 3 picks. Be there, be square. We already saw Royce drop his picks. Goodbye, everybody.
Thanks again for checking out this edition of This Week in the World of Football. New episodes of the show are posted every Tuesday and can be found wherever good podcasts are available. You can find the World of Football on Facebook, X, Instagram, and Threads by searching for TWOF Kalamazoo or using the links in the episode description below. Be sure to subscribe to the World of Football on YouTube for more great football-related content. Just search for the World of Football Kalamazoo or use the handle @TheWorldOfFootball to find us. Remember, every like, comment, and subscription really does help us out, and we appreciate you for that support. We hope to see you again next time.